Good morning, my dear students. Hope you all are very well in your homes. So, dear children, today we are going to start the remaining part of your chapter 7, Getting to Know About Plants. And in this part, I am going to explain you the different parts of a leaf. Leaf, as you all know, it's a very important part of a plant. See, for you I have collected a leaf. In fact, a few leaves are there, right? And let me just tell you what are the different parts, what are the various parts that you should know at least at this stage about a leaf. So students, this is a leaf. This all green part, or you can say this broad green part, is called as the lamina. It has been shown in your NCERT books also, page number 55, figure number 7.8. Lamina, this is the lamina part. The whole green part, or you can say the broad part of the leaf, is called the lamina, right? Lamina. And this part, this particular part from where the leaf is getting attached to the stem, this particular part is known as petiole. What we call it? Petiole, right? So students, why I said that leaf is a very important part in a plant, because the major function of a leaf is to prepare food for the plant, right? It is the kitchen of the plant, you can say, or it is the food factory of a plant. Now, beside this lamina and this petiole, leaves also have slight vein-like structures. If you can see here, small, tubular structures or tube-like structures, or veins we call them. So these lines are actually called as the veins. Okay, these are the veins. And this broader one, see this thicker one, which goes from the middle of the leaf, this part or this particular vein is known as the midrib. Mid, since it is in the middle of the leaf, so that is why it is called as midrib. Okay, and these are the veins. And the arrangement of veins in a leaf, this is known as venation. What we call this arrangement of different veins in a leaf, this particular term is venation. Venation, right? This is the venation. But students, surprisingly, all the leaves, they do not have similar types of venation in them. See, in venation we have basically two different types. First is the parallel venation, and the second one is the reticulate venation. Parallel, as the term is quite familiar to you, you might have read in your mathematics classes also. Parallel means simple lines that go parallel to each other. So generally in parallel venation, see, I have brought again a leaf for you which has parallel venation. See, all these veins in this particular leaf, they are parallel to each other, dear children. They are not intersecting each other, they are just parallel to each other. See, these all veins, they are quite parallel to each other. That is why this type of particular venation is termed as parallel venation. See, this is the parallel venation. And parallel venation, children, you can see in the grass family plants, like in wheat, in maize, barley, grasses. So all these types of plants, they generally show parallel venation, like this. Now let's come to the second type of venation, which is reticulate venation. Reticulate. Reticulate is just opposite to parallel. In this type of venation, the veins are not going parallel to each other. They are intersecting each other, and they just form a network of veins in a leaf, a complete network. Network means like there is a network of pipes, okay, in our homes. So it's a complete network of veins in a leaf which are generally termed as reticulate venation. All the big trees, just like this one, this is a leaf of Ashoka plant. Ashoka, neem, peepal, banyan, shisham, or any other tall tree, big trees, they generally have reticulate venation in them. Reticulate venation is there. Reticulate means the veins are intersecting each other somewhere in the leaf. They have a huge network of veins in a leaf. They are not just going parallel to each other. So students, we read about two types of venation here. The first one I told you, the parallel venation, just like in this leaf. And the second one is the reticulate venation, as in this leaf. Fine. So this was about the venation in plants. What we call this term? Venation. Right? Now, there is one, again, a very important term given in your book, that is transpiration. Students, here this word is transpiration in your NCERT books. Transpiration is simply, children, transpiration is generally the removing out of water. When the water, extra water of leaves, it comes out in the form of vapors. Since these leaves, they are called as the kitchen of the plant, there are different processes which go on throughout the life of a tree. So just like your body sweats in the summer to keep it cool, there is a lot of sweating nowadays in your body. So what is the purpose of sweating? Sweating just keeps our body cool. Similarly, in plants also, extra water, or you can say excess water, it is removed out through these tiny spores in it. Tiny holes are there, which are generally called as stoma or stomata. Through these tiny pores or tiny holes, small holes, the extra water comes out in the form of water vapors. Right? And this process is known as transpiration. Dear children, it is called as transpiration. So water comes out of leaves in the form of vapor by the process is called transpiration. Alright, so after this transpiration, we have one more important term given in your book on page number 57, that is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. In science, children, photo means light. What do you mean by photo? That is light. And synthesis means to prepare. So photosynthesis is a process by which green plants prepare their own food. It's a very important process in the nature, in fact, not only for plants, even for human beings and other animals also. So it's quite an important process, that is photosynthesis. A process in which these green leaves, they prepare food for the plants. That is called as photosynthesis. And how do they prepare? They prepare it with the help of different components, or you can say different raw materials, that are water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and of course some minerals which are present in the soil. So these different raw materials are needed for a plant to prepare its food. Okay, so this is the process of photosynthesis. Now, from where do they absorb these minerals and water? Actually, beta, they absorb them from their roots. The roots are the very important part, one of the important parts in a plant that help the plants to absorb water and minerals from the soil. Okay, so now since we are talking about the roots, let me just tell you that all plants, again, they do not have same types of roots. The roots are also, dear children, are of two types, taproot and fibrous root. These are the two types of root which are present in various types of plants. Now let me just tell you what taproot is. Taproot. In taproot, dear children, see, I have brought this taproot for you right from my garden. See, if you can see this taproot, there is one major root here. See this thicker one, it is the major root, and all other lateral roots are coming out of it. Small hair-like structures or lateral roots we call them, they are coming out of this main root, main structure. So the plants which have one main root and other lateral roots coming out of that main root, these type of plants, they have taproot, and these type of roots are called as taproots. Okay, all again I will say the big plants, the tall trees like Ashoka, neem, banyan, mango, or whichever tall trees name you call, they all have generally taproots, because these thicker ones or the major roots, they quickly go deep inside the ground to extract water and minerals, right? And they give full strength to the plant to stand upright. Okay, so these are the taproots in which one major root is there, one big root is there. It is very clearly visible that one big root is holding other lateral roots here in this particular plant. Now comes the second category of the root, that is the fibrous root. The second type of root is called the fibrous. As the name itself suggests, fibrous word comes from fiber. Fiber, I hope you already read in your chapter 3, fiber to fabric. Fiber means small threads. So in this type of root, dear children, we do not have, or the plants, they do not have any main root in them. See, here in this plant, there are many small and hair-like roots are coming out of it. We cannot say this one is main one or that one is the main. No, there is no main root here. All the roots, they have almost the same structure, the same length, right? That is why they give us the appearance of many fibers, just say like dhaga or threads. They look like threads, number of threads which have been joined together. So these type of roots in which no major root is there, this type of root is known as fibrous root. And dear children, this fibrous root is generally majorly found in the small herbs like grass. This is the roots of a grass plant. I have uprooted a grass from my garden. So this grass has fibrous root. Likewise, if you pull out any plant of grass family, just like wheat, maize, bajra, okay, this type of plants, if you uproot them and look to their roots, you will definitely find the similar types of roots there. These type of fibrous roots, like the fiber, the thread-like structures. Okay, so in roots, we do have again two types of roots. I told you, first is the taproot and the second one is the fibrous root. These are the two types of roots which are found in various plants. And students, you know very well that root is also one of the major parts in a plant. Just like the leaf, as a leaf produces food for it, roots absorb water and minerals for the plant. Alright, so this is the function of a root for a plant. Now let's come to another important part of a plant, that is a flower. A flower. See how bright and how colorful they are. You know why they are bright? Do you know? Dear children, they are bright in color generally to attract insects, so that they can attract the insects, and moreover they also do the process of reproduction in plants. They do have different parts in them, just like stamens, pistils, anthers and stigma. So they do have all these parts in them which produce seeds. See, This colorful part is the petal part. These are the petals. Okay, and this green part, this one, these green leaf-like structures, small green, they are called as sepals. Okay, sepal, this colorful is called the petal. Okay, now inside a flower you will see number of other structures which may be very new for you, but if you take out a flower and dissect it, dissecting means distorting the flower. If you distort these flowers, you will find numerous other small parts in it. See, dear children, these small parts, these are the reproductive parts in a plant. These are the male reproductive parts. The stamen part, this is the anther and this is the filament. Okay, anther and filament. These both are collectively called as stamen. What we call them? Stamen. Right? Anther and filament. They are collectively called as stamen part. Now let's, and these are, children, these are the male parts in a flower. Male parts. Male as you know, man. Okay, so these all are the male parts in a flower. The anther and filament. Now let's come to the female parts of a flower. The female parts. Right? Now, in a female part, if you dissect the flower from its bottom area, the bottom area, you will see slightly a swollen part there, which is called as ovary. The ovary. I have pulled it out. I have completely dissected it, distorted it, and now there is ovary in my hands, ovary of a flower. See, dear children, this swollen part at the bottom of a flower is called as the ovary, which carries seeds in it. All the seeds of a new plant are there in this ovary. Okay? So this is a very important part of your chapter. This was about the flower. If you dissect them properly, you will definitely find some seeds in it. See, you have to dissect it very carefully. So you will find some seeds in it, which are generally the ovules. Generally the ovules. Let me just show you what ovules, where ovules could be found. See, dear children, here, these small unripened seeds which you can see here, let me just extract them out with the help of this pencil tip. See, this is the ovule, an unripened seed in a flower. So this was all about the structure. So dear children, these things will be more clear to you if you dissect the flowers yourself. Take some flowers, take out its part and dissect them as shown in your figure number 7.25 on page number 62 in your NCERT books. Thank you everyone.